I recently purchased this gorgeous stamp set from ginakdesigns called Cozy Winter Wishes, and I want to make a card using this big, beautiful stamp of these three houses, and we'll do a couple of the other elements. I want to show you the sample card just so you give an idea what we're going to do. The focal point of the card, I want to show you this technique, is how to get these the sky to look like an Aurora Borealis. So we're going to make a card very similar to this. I may or may not stamp the Santa, but I wanted to show you in the sample card just so you could see some of the ideas you can do with this beautiful stamp set. So let's get started. So as I said, we're going to start off with this beautiful stamp. So I brought in my Misty stamping platform, and we're going to put in a piece of quarter sheet cardstock. I'm going to place that right in there, and I'm going to tape it down. Now, I really have to be careful because I have a new manicure, and this blue will streak the cardstock if I scrape my nail across it. So I have to be very, very careful here. All right, so let's go ahead and pull out this stamp. This stamp is great for making larger cards, like 5x7s. I'm sticking with a US A2 card, so when we're finished, the card panel is going to be cut down to 3 3/4 by 5, and this stamp is about 5 1/4 inches wide. So we will be trimming some of it down. So I'm just going to figure out where I want to place this, and I'm going to put it close to the bottom. And I do want to make sure I get some of the trees in on both sides, because like I said, we're going to be trimming this down. So just get that where you want it, and then close the Misty door and pick it up. And then to ink it, I'm using ginakdesigns Premium Dye Ink in Black Onyx. And I've been playing around with this stamp, so I've made a few cards. So the stamp is already conditioned, but if it was the first time, you'll just want to wipe it off with your hand or a conditioning tool of some sort, just to get that residue off of the stamp initially. So you just get it good and inky. All right, we may have to stamp it more than once, but that's the beauty of the Misty tool. Where's my stone now? Here we go. Sometimes it's easier on the hands if you have a heavy object to press that door down. And I do want to get a darker image, so we're going to go back in. And down with the door. And I'm going to give it some really good pressure. Get some muscle into this one. And you can see I am still missing a little bit on that tree. So we're going to go in again. I'm going to focus on that area and really make sure I have ink on that stamp. And I think third time's a charm. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to go ahead and dry off the stamp, or wipe off the stamp. And then what I did earlier is we're going to go ahead and take this out of here. Again, I want to be careful that I don't scrape my fingernail across the cardstock. So we're going to take that out and just set it here aside for a second. And then the next thing I did, and I'm not going to do it again, but I will show you, because we're going to mask off this house. And, oops, while we're here, let's wipe off all the ink. I don't have a coordinating die, and honestly, I'm not sure if there is a coordinating die with this. There might be, but I don't have it. So what I did is I took the Masking Magic sheets from Gina K, and I just grabbed a sheet out of the pack. And what I did was I stuck it in my Misty, I put the stamp down, it doesn't matter, and I stamped it, and then I fussy cut it. And I'm going to show you, let me get this out of the way, I want to show you the end result because I've been using it, and the nice thing is you can use these over and over. So I cut it, or I stamped it, and then it was very, very easy to cut around these lines. The roof line is what I was focusing on. And then this is just low tack, so you can use it over and over. And this will be my third time using it. Well, we can leave that off because we're gonna actually put it on and mask off this area. So what I want to do, let me get this stamp out of the way because we're done with it, is I want to go ahead and mask off this image. But before we do that, I do need to bring in a, hang on one second. And I'm bringing in a sticky mat from ginakdesigns, and I'm going to go ahead and just put my cardstock onto it. Okay. And then we're taking the mask that I created, and I don't need to take off this backing paper, but I just want to take off the backing paper on the top. And then I am going to pull this down just a little bit so I can see. Let me zoom in. And I just want to get as close to that roof line as I can. Okay. And just take your time with it. And just plop that down and then give it a good press, especially along the roof line. You want that to adhere very, very well. Okay. Now the magic happens. So we're going to be using these inks to create the sky. So we have Wild Dandelion, Emerald Coast, and Blue Denim. I don't know if you got to see those because I'm zoomed in quite a bit. Let me zoom out. So that's Wild Dandelion, Emerald Coast, and Blue Denim. And then to create the effect of the Aurora Borealis, I'm going to go in with the Wild Dandelion first. And I'm just using a blending tool. And I'm going to get some ink on here. And then I'm just going to go in, I'm going to start onto the mask and just kind of blend upward. And it really doesn't matter where you go. But I'm just kind of going to go up on an angle and have it brighter on the bottom and then fade up. So you can kind of see that right there. Okay. And so we're going to do each color, and we can always go back and add a little bit more if we need one of the colors to be more vibrant. But here is the Emerald Coast. And for that, I'm going to come in over here. So again, we're going to start on the mask and work our way up. And we'll do it again. And it's okay to leave some of the white space up at the top. I may even put some of the Emerald Coast over here. Okay. And then lastly, we want to go in with the Blue Denim. And we'll go over on this side and we'll bring that in. We could blend it right up into the Wild Dandelion. And I might even put some over in this corner. And I do want to come on the sticky mat and onto the cardstock. That way I don't get a blotchy section. So it's kind of hard to tell with all the lighting in here, but there you go. All right, so I don't think we're going to add any more. I think we're going to just see, we're going to peel this and see what we get. Actually, you know what? Before I peel this, I want to add a little bit of stars, maybe some star splatter. So let me grab some white. Let me just grab something here. All right, so we're going to be using Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White to add the star spatter. And I'm just going to put a very little bit, I actually use a chopstick here. I'm just going to put a little bit onto my glass surface, just a very little bit. I'm going to wipe off the rest just with a paper towel. I use that chopstick especially for this product. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water off to the side here. It's kind of hard to see on my white glass mat, but there is a glob of bleed proof white right there. And then I'm going to take a small round paintbrush, and I think this is just like a number 1. Get it in there. And normally I do this in a splat box, but I'm just going to go very slow and careful and add some stars. Just like that. Okay. And that's all we're gonna do. So let me go ahead and clean this up, and then I'll give this a little minute to dry, and then we'll take the mask off together. We'll be right back. Okay, I got everything cleaned up. So we're gonna go ahead and peel the mask off, and it comes off very easily. And then you can see our beautiful scene. Isn't that cute? I mean, the sky really came out nice, especially with the stars, and the houses are just so cute. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make these windows look like they're glowing. But first, I want to just take a minute to put the sticky adhesive right back onto my mask, because I will be able to use it again. So just line it up. Let's just go this way. So I think it's easier to line it up this way. And then I'm just going to take a paper towel. I don't have it dampened. I'm just going to wipe off any excess ink. And I can use this again. I will be able to use this again. So what I will do is I will store it with the stamp set so I can use it again when I'm ready. So what I did off camera is I went ahead and stamped the greeting. I did Merry Christmas, and I stamped it in black. And then I cut it out using... You don't have to have this die. You can just cut it out with your paper trimmer, but I used this die from Master Layouts 18, and I cut out the greeting, and then I cut out 2 more layers, one in white and one in black. And so this is 3 layers thick, and what I did was I glued the 2 white layers together, and then the black layer, I just offset it a little bit. And then I took my black ink pad and just ran it along the bottom edge just to help it to stand out onto the card. And I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and leave the Santa off, because my sample card I had the greeting on the houses, and I really want them to shine and be the star of the show. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of light into the windows. And for that, we'll bring in our wild dandelion again. I'm just going to put a little bit on my glass mat. It doesn't take a whole lot. And again, just add a little water. You could do this with any water reactive inks. Let's go ahead and zoom in again. Okay. And then I'm just going to wet my brush, pick up a little bit of the ink, get a paper towel, and just dab off any excess, because you don't want a whole lot of water. And it doesn't take a lot. You just need to put a little bit of color into the areas. And if there's some white space, that's okay. You don't have to be very fussy about this part. I'm just trying to get a little color down into all these windows. Okay, and if you're worried about going outside the lines, just focus on the center part of the openings. And here I'm just drawing lines. You know, I'm not really even worried about going to the edges. Oops, I almost forgot this little guy and these couple here. And then I might go back over with a little bit less water and more color. So I'm kind of going on this side of where I laid down the ink. And then you can go back over and darken some of these up if you want, like a glowier look. Just go back over and add some highlights. Do that to these as well. And the front door here, maybe that's a glass panel on the door. Okay, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. So let me get this out of the way here first. Let me just add a little bit more water and wipe this up. Okay, and then that's what we have. And you know, I just kind of like that. You could color the houses. I'm going to leave them white. I like that simple, clean look, and I want the sky to be the main event here. So let's go ahead and bring in the big shot and do some die cutting. Now, you don't need to have a die cutting machine. And you know what? I'm rethinking this. Nope, I am going to use a die cutting machine. You can use a paper trimmer. Let's pan way out. You can use a paper trimmer and cut it manually. That works just as fine. But in my case, I am going to use Master Layouts. Let's see, I'm going to use the dies here. And they're from Master Layouts 1 from Gina K. So I'm going to use both of these large rectangle dies. And one is slightly larger than the other, which is this one. So this will be the matte layer and this will be the panel layer. So that's what we're going to crop. And I know it's really, really hard to crop a beautiful scene, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. So I'm just kind of making sure there's some trees on each side. And unfortunately, we're going to crop out those side windows. You could bring it over if you wanted, and maybe I will. Maybe I will just a little bit. And we'll just tape it down. And I am going to turn this around here. And it's, well, my tape is not sticking very well, so let's do that again. Take two. And we'll just run it through. And just like that, we have a beautifully cropped panel. And I don't think it took away from the design too terribly much. You still get the effect. And then we just need to cut out the matte layer. No lining up required for this one. Just put your cardstock down. I don't even need to tape it. Put your cardstock down, put the die down, and run it through. And there is our matte layer. So let's go ahead and put this card together. So we have our matte layer, which is sticking. We have our panel, and we have our USA2 side folding card base. Okay, and the card base, I like to use a 110-pound cardstock, and then these layers are just 65-pound cardstock. So let's just go ahead and glue this together, and we'll have a done project. Our project will be finished and super easy. Just stamping. I need to put this over here where I can see. Just stamping and masking. That masking is just really, really nice. And the Masking Magic sheets from Gina K will not rip your cardstock, and they do a nice crisp line when you're masking anything. So it's really, really nice. And we'll just glue this down, and then we'll add our greeting, our Merry Christmas. This is my first Christmas card that I've made for the season. I'm a little behind, but we're getting started. We're getting started. All right, so let's just glue this on. And because I've layered it with 3 layers, it's going to give a little bit of dimension, which is good. A little bit of lift off of the panel. I'm just eyeballing the center on each side and making sure it's straight. It looks good, actually. And that's it. That's our finished card project for today. My first Christmas card. This is a great stamp set. So if you don't have it, maybe go to look on her website and see if it's in your budget or if it's something you'd like to add to your collection. It's a good one, and it's timeless. It will not go out of style. So that's a good one to have in your collection. And that is the finished card for today. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, do subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video, okay? And until next time, I want to thank you for joining me. Have a great week.